Hi, everybody. I'm Alison Kent with Alison Kent Home Kitchen, and we are going to bring in Midland Appliance here. We're going to talk with Stephan Byns about Midland. There they are. All about appliances and how to appliances and everything we need to know about finding the best person to deal with appliances. And Stephan's our guy. So we're going to chat with him for the next half hour on everything we need to know. Basically the basics, right? About shopping for appliances.
Yeah.
Hi, Stephan.
Hi, how are you doing, Alison? Good evening.
Doing well. Doing well. I'm still on my first glass of wine, so it's an early night. Maybe spend a minute just telling everybody your background, because you just know absolutely every line, you know everything about appliances. You've worked for almost everybody. I can't even fathom the amount of knowledge you have about appliances. Maybe you can tell everybody for a few seconds about your background.
Well, it certainly accumulates over 35 years. I started as a young apprentice at Midland Appliances in Germany, and when the appliance apprenticeship finished, I went into sales, and at one point I wanted to move to another country, and Canada was starting up, and I lifted my hand and said, yeah, you need somebody young and that doesn't want to make a lot of money and sell appliances. I'm your guy. And yeah, from there it went from the manufacturer of Miele, determining their product line, helping them design appliances. I was a consultant to a distributor for Sub-Zero and Wolf. I have been in retail and wholesale, and have influenced quite a bit of the appliance lines out there from Asia. I went to Samsung and we looked at designing ranges, and you get a good overview after a while, and you know who makes what and who makes what for who, and how do these burners work, and oh, there's only 4 companies that make burners. And so it is, it gives you quite a nice all-around knowledge that we then can bring into the conversation with the client. And
I was going to say, like, that's looking at it from every angle, because you started in sales, but you know all about the design. You know, you've had enough years that you know what's working and what's not working, enough to talk to these companies and say, look, like, that just doesn't work. Don't design it that way. Or this is brilliant. Maybe think about adding this in. And you just have that whole, like, well-rounded experience by the end. Not the end, but by now.
There's a lot of good manufacturers in Europe, but if we would just bring over European appliances, we would not sell anything else but 24-inch, right? So, but with some of their expertise and with a little bit of a push from the North American, Canadian side, we were able to have them make 30, 36, and 48-inch wide ranges that are not very common over in Europe.
Right. And in general, are people buying bigger and bigger appliances, or are they?
It depends where you live, right? In the downtown core of Vancouver, you see a lot of 24-inch and space-saving appliances, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But then for the larger homes, the custom homes out in Langley and in the Valley, and even here in Vancouver, the larger homes desire prestige looking large appliances. Also depends how many people live in the home.
And I think also how much they actually cook, because when you look at a chef, they never leave this little, like, 36 by 36 inch little space that, you know, if you have to walk 2 steps to get to a 6-foot fridge, that's too many steps, and they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
Interesting. And so you've also trained all the staff there at Midland.
Yeah,
with all your expertise. And
yeah, what is quite important is that you can't do it all by yourself. This is always a team effort, and all the knowledge that myself brings to the table, and some of the sales managers that are in the industry 25, 30 years here, we impart that knowledge and that expertise on our sales staff, and we want to make 100% sure that every client is matched with the right appliances. that comes from not just the pricing. We overlook every quote that goes out. We make suggestions. Have you thought about pairing this with this? Because we only do well when our clients do well. And when our clients do well with the equipment that we recommend, then we're doing good. And then we're getting recommendations. And then we're having more people come in and we can do more good.
Because there's not just one brand that does everything well. And a brand that's good for me might not be good for the next person, or it might work differently in a way that they don't cook or use the appliance or whatever. There's not just one answer in appliances. There's a lot of pairing with the person, right?
Yes, and there's manufacturers that just specialize in cooking. There's manufacturers that just specialize in refrigeration. And we have to dissect from those. So there's over 500 appliance manufacturers. But when you look at our showroom, for example, it is already a pre-selection of the appliance industry. We have actively traveled to these factories. We have selected product. We have brought in product. I remember in the early 90s, Midland Appliances was responsible for Fisher Paykel to launch in Canada because the original owner was interested in the dish drawer that didn't exist in Canada. And from there it went and grew. And we're doing the same nowadays when we are aware there's a great hood fan line in Italy. We go to that factory and we look it up and we speak to the owners and we ask, can we have that in 120 volts? And so on. And so the story goes. So when a client enters our environment, we are so proud of our showroom and our environment because it is already a pre-selection, and we have what from our point of view is a fantastic selection that doesn't confuse anybody because we already sifted through what we don't want to have.
Well, and as a person coming in, whether I'm a designer or a client, and there's 500, did you say, different appliance lines? Yeah, I need somebody to have filtered that down for me, because that's a lot of appliances to sift through for somebody just walking in the door. You want somebody with your expertise and your knowledge to have already kind of curated what they're going to see, and curated not just at a high price point. Like you have appliances at every price point in there. It's just curated for what you know is a good value for the money, or you know, this one's going to be just right for the home chefs. This one's going to be just right for the other people. And it's going to, you've already done all that pre-thinking, I think, for a lot of people, right?
Well, there's a lot of variety of needs for appliances. There might be, like yourself, you want to build a dream kitchen, something that works for you. You had high demands on the gas cooking performance. So the first thing that came to my mind, you have to see this range, right? And so we went and I showed you and demonstrated you the differences between that particular range and others, and how the flame develops, and how the mix of a sealed with an open burner is an incredible characteristic for a gas range, so that you can go from high flame right down to melting on every single burner. Well,
I like that when I came in, it was a conversation. It wasn't, I had gone into another place that shall not be named, and they would only try and sell me one thing. And I kept saying, but this isn't the right thing. Like, I don't feel like this is the right appliance line for me specifically, but that is just all they would talk about. They wouldn't listen to me. They wouldn't show me anything else. And I felt like when I walked in and talked to you, we were already just having a conversation, and you were informing me and you were empowering me to make a good decision, to make the best decision for my kitchen, which I really appreciated.
It always takes a little bit of time to get to know the customer's needs. And that's why we always ask questions. A good appliance professional will ask you questions. We'll listen first of all, and we'll ask you, tell me about your project. Tell me about what you're doing. What is this for? How many people are living in the house? And how often do you go shopping? From all of that assembled questioning, we are able to make up, a better proposal for you. And appliance shopping shouldn't be tedious, or it shouldn't be difficult. It should also be a little bit of fun. I mean, we're spending whatever, 12 hours a day at work, and I'm doing it 6 days a week, and I would be stupid if I wouldn't enjoy what I'm doing. So I might as well make a connection with their client and find out what their home life is about and how their kitchen should function to give them the proper advice. Any one brand can potentially not resolve all your questions.
No, and I've had clients since that we've talked about where they're like, I want everything this brand. I'm like, well, let's just hear what else is out there, because not every brand makes everything extremely well and functional as you might need it to be. And bigger isn't always better, and you just have to really sift through all the information. We've talked before about reading online reviews. What's your feeling about online reviews with appliances?
It's a great start. I think that online reviews are necessary. They give you an opinion about a particular product or about a company where you're going to shop at and drop all that money that you worked so hard for. So it is important to us that people have some kind of perception of what they want to look for. It is a beginning. In the end, I think that we will have to connect the dots. You have to see and touch and feel the appliances, and online you're not always exposed to everything, or not everything comes up optimized in the search engine. For example, your range, right? I don't know if you looked for that particular piece before online, or if you saw anything online about this piece. So
I
it is
did
about
try and look it
exploring.
up, and I was on, especially on House, and I was looking at reviews, and there just wasn't a lot out there. So I was really relying on our conversations to make that decision and to feel comfortable with that decision, because it's not always easy being like, for our little town of Vancouver, I'm basically a first adopter on that one. So it does take, you have to do your research in any way that you can. I talked to the factory down in California. Like I did what I can until I was comfortable with the decision. And as you know, it's now installed and
Yeah.
exciting and exciting. But there's just a lot for people to sift through, I find. And it's especially with clients, I can tell them so much, but then I just say, let's go visit Stephan, and he's just going to tell us, because he just is so knowledgeable. Is there
Well,
is there like a group of appliances like fridges or ranges or whatever that you're most excited about these days? Like, is anybody really pushing the envelopes of appliance design and features? And
Well, it depends in what category. You can look at space-saving appliances. There's a lot of 24-inch product that is absolutely outstanding. We have a live kitchen here. We're doing a lot of performing with steam cooking, and one of the smaller 24-inch pieces that we have live here has gathered a lot of excitement from my sales staff. We're making sure that the people that you are talking to actually cook. I mean, that is an important part. How can you recommend from a wide variety of ranges or ovens and whatnot, what is good, what is not good? I want my salespeople to wash their own laundry. I want them to know what detergent to use. We have kind of developed a little bit this expert attitude. We want to know everything that is to be known, and that is not only the appliances, that is also the chemicals you use to clean your dishes, the chemicals you use to clean your laundry. And if you ask me personally what I'm excited about, I'm always excited about laundry, because that is possibly the most misunderstood category right now in the market.
really, well, we're
Yes.
going to get into washers and dryers and all the different appliances at some point in time. I had another question that was more about with the sales staff there. Do you guys all go to the factories, or you're kind of going to the factories, you bring a lot of knowledge back? Do you guys go to the KBIS, the National Kitchen Bath kind of stuff? Like, how do you guys best keep on top of everything that's new?
We usually went to KBIS. Obviously, right now that is not possible. But the last time
Virtual.
we went with a group of people, and those people come back. They're most likely the sales managers for our single family team and the sales manager for our project and multifamily division, as well as the retail managers. And we look at what is coming up in the next year. We gather that information and we take pictures, and then we're having our internal meetings where we give the news to all of our sales staff. And there's factory trips, and in some cases, there's also the possibility for any of our sales associates to go to a factory and visit. And that is always a fantastic educational trip. There's nothing that beats to see live how appliances are being built. And sometimes you meet the owner, sometimes you shake the owner's hand and you can say, hey, I know the guy that built this.
I know a guy.
I
Well,
know a
and
guy.
to be able to see, because even with my stove, there's probably features in there that I would never know about if somebody didn't take the time to really sit down and get into those little nitty gritties. And of course, you get a lot of that at factory. But yeah, there's probably features that most people don't even know how to use on half of their appliances, I would think.
Yeah. Well,
It,
if you take an appliance apart, there's only uh, so much difference between certain brands. There's the design, there is the components that are being used, and the more proprietary these components are, I think the more exclusive the appliance becomes. Like, again, in your case with your caliber range, it is an exclusive product to us as we have searched it out, and we have met the owner. The owner is actually known in the appliance industry as the inventor of many, many gas burners that are have been quite successful from a variety of companies until he had enough and he built his own unbelievable burner, which is so far possibly not duplicated. Yeah, we dissect those things and we bring this into the conversation, and you will know when you're done here, you will have a good overview. What is great? What is budget-wise fantastic? And we're dissecting all of that myth and good or bad reviews. I mean, reviews are important. I think to tag on to the review is a live visit at a showroom where you get an honest and trustworthy opinion and layout of who makes what and how is it made and does this have a good history.
well, I think people are surprised sometimes that they're buying one brand, but not realizing that half the parts were actually made by the brand next door, who actually is one of only four people that make all those parts for all the brands. Like there's a whole
Yeah,
background web there that we just leave with the pros there. That's a lot of knowledge to take in for the average client. But even some, I think you were explaining to me like some of the same names that you might find in stores you would not expect, to that some of that's all made by the same factories.
yeah.
Is there anything made in Canada?
Um, there are distribution companies in Canada, but they import most of the product. I think we had one of the last refrigeration plants was GE in Hamilton, Ontario, and that has closed down. Um, there's a few little companies. There's the Urban Cultivator, which is like a little grower unit for herbs that is partially assembled in Canada. But yeah, it is unfortunately going, a lot of it is going either US, Mexico, or when it's in Europe, Turkey and Slovenia right now, the big production grounds, as you have a very young, educated workforce, but they work for just a little bit less than somebody in Germany or in Sweden.
Interesting. So no matter what, if you live in Canada as we do, it's imported from somewhere. It's
Yeah,
just having a professional like you help you sort through all those import brands and which ones are working for what. And you don't just work with people to select their appliances, like you help everything to get delivered properly. We're not going to have
yeah,
it delivered wrong and dropped, and nothing's going to happen to that baby. And you made a comment that you were like a lifetime lifeline for these appliance users. Like if they have any problems down the road, they just call into Midland, and it's a support system that they keep with them
Well, we call it forever care, right? It
forever.
starts when you come into the store and you want to select the proper appliances, and then the sales professional stays with you throughout the building process, throughout the planning initially, and then the building and renovation, and speaks to your either kitchen designer, architect, or builder, and makes sure that we're still on track, that the appliance is still the right thing. The builder might call and ask, do we need a drain for this steam oven, or is it just a water tank? So we do that, and then from there on it goes to the delivery. We have a professional delivery team that doesn't stop until it is properly delivered.
I can
And
attest to that this week.
yes, I know. And takes doors off and entrance doors and trims in order to get easy, big gas ranges into a residence. But from there on, it's not over. Like appliances break down. Appliances have service calls necessary. And in a lot of cases, the client needs the help to accelerate that service call, or to speak on their behalf with the manufacturer, with the local service company. Hence, that is a very, very important part of the appliance choice as well. Is there local parts available? Are there local parts available? Is there a local service department? So from that point of view, we just do it all around, and we don't ever let the customer feel alone in this experience, because it's not only at the time of purchase, it's a long time afterwards.
Because some of the appliances now last for 20 years. What is it? Sub-Zero or something has a 20-year warranty or something like that. That's a crazy long time to have the same appliance.
But a warranty isn't 20. They have like a partial warranty that goes up to 12 years, which is rather long. But the life expectancy in general for that particular appliance is around that time. And there's a couple of other appliances that have a very high lifespan as well, and that is also reflected in a price.
But it's good to know that in 20 years or in 15 years, say, and something snags or something goes wrong, as it may do, which is totally reasonable to expect, that you're still there for them, and you're not just like, oh, sorry, we don't have that file anymore. See you later.
In 20 years, who knows?
We have a comment on here that says the sales staff at Midland are exceptional. Somebody commented. And
yeah, well,
you
that
know
is very kind.
So I won't tell you.
And I think that was, oh yeah, I think. Very kind, thank you. Yeah,
it's very true.
We like to train our staff at all times. We're adding to our experience. I learn on a daily basis. There's technology available for speed cooking that I thought was only available to one company, and found out, oh, this is actually made by another company that hasn't incorporated in their own appliances. So on a daily basis, we learn new things, but I think the base knowledge of the staff that we have, most of our staff is here 6, 8, 10, 14 years. And they had a life before where they dealt in appliances, either in the supply chain or wholesale or in retail. And yeah, we pride ourselves on a group of people. They work really, really hard and with a lot of passion. I think it is so important that when you're coming in here and you give us the trust to deal with your kitchen plans and your renovation plans, and that you get that passion that you have for your kitchen, we have that passion, and we translate that into a great selection in the end.
I think it's clear. I walk in, and if you're not there, I can just ask. Somebody will stop me, say, do you need help? Or I can ask, and there's always somebody who's helping with a smile on, and not just like, oh, I've got other places to be. which has happened at other appliance places that we won't mention here. But it's nice to just know that from the moment you walk in the door till your appliance dies in 20 years and you need the next generation of appliance, that you guys are just always there throughout that whole life cycle of the kitchen or the home or laundry. What else? Laundry, kitchens,
dishwashing, cooking. Yeah, we are going to speak in the future about all of these different categories, because there's so much to know, and possibly we can put a couple of tips out there for your viewers and your subscribers on how to properly dosage dishwasher detergent, and why are taps this way and why is powder detergent a bit more efficient to purchase. We'll shed light on that, and there's all the categories from refrigeration, cooking, ventilation, laundry, dishwashing. We're going to talk about all of it.
We're going to talk about all of them. We were originally going to try and fit a lot of that into this 30 minutes. We're like, no. We're going to need a whole series for this. So we're going to get on that for everybody. We're going to have just try and tackle one at a time and just show people, like, there's so many things in talking to you that I'm like, I had no idea that I should be looking for stainless steel here and not stainless steel there. And, there's just such a big, vast world. There's so much knowledge. I think we're definitely going to fill 8 more videos for sure. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Intro to appliances. I know I've been bugging you a lot this week because my appliances have been coming in.
Yeah.
You're probably sick of me this week, but that's okay. By the time we get to the other videos, you won't be sick of me anymore.
How do you like the range so far?
I think I love it right now. I basically have this beautiful range sitting in the middle of nothing. There's like the cabinets are gone, the countertops are gone. So I did use it the other night and I made dinner and it was wonderful, but it's hard to, like, the cook in me doesn't know how to cook a meal when I don't have I don't have my space set up. So
yeah. It will come soon enough.
Just waiting for the fridge.
Yeah.
Okay, and people can find you in Richmond here, Greater Vancouver, and online midlandappliance.com.
Yes.
.com.
Yeah, and we have just announced that we're carrying over our clearance event that ends now January 31st. Nice. Our locations are in Richmond on Bridgeport Road and down on Columbia Street in Vancouver. And very soon also a new location in the Valley.
In the Valley. And you mentioned it quickly. It was the New Year's sale, or the new sale that you're extending to the 31st?
Yeah, that's our clearance event.
Sale. Okay. And that's for all kinds of appliances?
All kinds of appliances. Everything that has become a little bit old on the showroom floor, or clearance items that we have in the warehouse. Slightly dinged, if you like, some of them, but for incredible prices. We got a clean house so we can bring all the new stuff in.
Yep. Sounds good. Okay, well, we'll get some people your way, and thanks for joining me. And you can keep finding me online, and Mondays doing Instagram Lives, and Steph and I will definitely be back.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye.